I want to apologize to Ms. McKenzie. I just walked in. I didn't know what she was talking about. I just came from Weekway High School after we had a men's meeting and we had a safe passageway. So it's about 50 African-American males outside of Weekway High School right now, standing outside, making sure the kids are safe. And since we organized the program, I had to show my face there at least. And they're out there, and I'm proud to be a part of that. And I'm glad them brothers. I want to give them a shout out because I know they're out there, and they're going to be out at various schools in the South Ward to make sure the kids are safe. And I appreciate those brothers for coming out there. Some of them took off work. Some of them have their kids with them, but they're out there in front of Weekway High School, and they ought to get the praise that they deserve. You know, Dave Giambuso drove by. He stopped. He came through, so he's outside. Hopefully there'll be a story, because there's always the negative stories. Hopefully there's a positive story. And according to this place, this Family Dollar, I don't know if you spoke to them, you work for them, or whatever the issue is, 10-4, but there's two block associations, the one on the first side and the one on the other side, because I live on that block, on the other side of the street, that the Family Dollar is putting garbage in there. We have them videotaped putting their own garbage out, and it's falling all over the ground, all out. The neighbors are complaining that the garbage has been going to their houses. We've been to the Family Dollar 3 times. The code enforcement has been out there twice. Amos has went there and fined them himself once. Now, let me tell you the irony of the situation, though. We were talking about it today, and another resident from the block on the opposite side of Family Dollar complained to me, Sabu, who's in charge of the lower Shepherd Avenue Block Association, complained that the parking lot is also the same as the garbage place. So where they put the garbage out is a mess, and the parking lot is also a mess. So I say this because they can't live in our community unless we shop there. And if it was anybody else's neighborhood, we wouldn't have to put out a sign and say boycott, because they wouldn't even take themselves in the store if the people disrespect our community to the fact that they're going to not even clean up. You know why they don't clean up? Because they think we like garbage. Ooh. They think that we ought to live in garbage, and being in garbage is okay, and it's not okay. I don't think it's okay. And I told the store owner that I don't think it's okay, so did 2 or 3 other people, well, the manager of the store. And then we took pictures and sent it to the owner. That's the only reason they cleaned up the garbage part. The owner made them take a fence, lock it up, and clean up the garbage, and sent a response back to my aide that they had did X, Y, and Z. And I appreciate that, but now the parking lot has to be done. We can't have low standards for people in our communities simply because they offer us things. You know, they need to give us jobs simply because they're in our neighborhood. We feed their kids. They're in our neighborhood. They ought to employ the people in the neighborhood, and at the same time, they ought to keep their place clean. So I'm not going to back off of that until they do what they're supposed to do by the people in our community. If the place is dirty, they need to clean it up, just like anybody else who owns a store in our community. They ought to keep it clean.
On to the agenda.
Council of the Whole to receive and file reports and recommendations. Roll call.
Council of the Whole.
Amador? Yes. Rocca?
Yes.
Crump? Yes. Gonzalez? Yes. Hannah?
Yes.
Ramos?
Yes.
Rice?
Yes.
Yes.
President Payne?
Yes.
Ordinance is on first reading, Mr. President. The first 6FA is a mid-block crosswalk on Mount Vernon Place. Ready
Move it.
for adoption, Council?
Move it.
All right, to
Second.
adopt on first reading, Rice.
Gonzalez.
Gonzalez.
Roll call.
Amador?
Yes.
Rocca?
Yes.
Crump? Yes. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Quintana?
Yes.
Ramos?
Yes.
Rice?
Yes.
Sharif?
Yes.
President Payne?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman?
Councilman Rice.
Yeah, just again for the viewing audience and those West Waters that are here, this is again to amend the code so that we can provide the mid-block crosswalk on Mount Vernon School, by Mount Vernon School. It was illegally placed there originally, but with the money that we received from President Obama's stimulus, we were able to put a new crosswalk there, and this is just to change the ordinance to allow us to put it there legally.
6FB in the east on Clifford Street, Councilman Amador, parking regulations to adopt on first reading.
Yes, sir.
Second,
Second.
Quintana.
Roll call.
Amador?
Yes.
Rocca?
Yes.
Crump?
Yes.
Gonzalez?
Yes.
Quintana?
Yes.
Ramos?
Yes.
Rice?
Yes.
Sharif?
Yes.
President Payne?
Yes.
6FC, ordinance, Councilman Rice, restoring previous language regarding number of licenses, taxis to be issued, to adopt on first reading.
Move it.
Second?
Second.
Second, Gonzalez.
Roll call.
Amador,
Yes.
Baca,
Yes.
yes. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Quintana,
Yes.
Ramos,
Yes.
Rice.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
President Payne.
Yes.
Mr. President, the ordinance adopted today on first reading will be advertised in accordance with state law. Public hearing will be held at the regular council meeting, February 16th, 6:30 p.m. soon thereafter as practical. Public hearing, second reading, final passage. The first item in ordinance designated residential parking areas, Central Ward, Nesbit. Councilman Sharif?
Yes.
All right. Does anyone wish to be heard on this ordinance?
Yes, I do. Get ready, I'm coming. My name is Tenful Evan, P.O. Box
All right,
2367, New Jersey.
I'm coming.
Mr. Robert Rascal, I want you to explain that order that you just read.
Mr. Fresco.
Well, I just gave him a name, but he know what the name is, Robert. Explain it. Give me what you said.
Mr. Who?
Robert Fresco.
Mr. Fresco.
Fresco.
Mr. Robert, read that again, so we make sure we're on the same page.
Fresco.
Mr. President, the ordinance allows residential permit parking on the street that's named. Under city ordinances, that's allowed.
I'm sorry? I didn't hear you.
I said
Please
the
explain that
ordinance
ordinance.
allows residential permit parking in accordance with city parking regulations
Okay, thank you.
on Nesbit.
Thank you.
Okay, if that's all you had to do, Robert. Don't get up in this council like you don't understand when I ask you to speak.
Okay, all right,
okay?
all right. He answered the question, man.
No. All I want to know to get the right understanding before you say something, you need to know what it was. When you talk down. Let's talk up so we can hear you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Thank
Totally
you.
agree.
No one else appearing?
Totally agree.
No one else appearing, Mr. President? The motion is by Councilmember Sharif, second by
I'll second.
Ramos, to adopt the ordinance, second reading, final pass.
Roll call.
Amador,
Yes.
Baca,
Yes.
Crump,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Quintana,
Yes.
Ramos,
Yes.
Rice.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
President Payne.
Yes.
The next item, Mr. President, is Councilman Baraka's ordinance regarding definitions of restaurants and hours of operation. Does anyone wish to be heard on this ordinance?
Yes, I do. Good evening. My name is 104 Evans, P.O. Box 2367, 14900 Terra. I think the order is a good order. Please, Councilor Rockham, if it don't pass the first time, put it back on the agenda again. I do not want to come up here again and say they ain't passed the order for the restaurant. At least you did that when I come up to you, okay? Thank you. Have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Got up easy.
No one else appearing?
We have someone.
Joanne Sims, 438 Holiday Court, Power to the People. My question is, what restaurants? Is it all the restaurants in the South Ward?
Well, it's actually designated streets throughout the entire city that my council colleagues helped work on, adding streets. Some did, some didn't want any in their ward, but for the most part, it's around the entire city that stores on designated streets have to close at 10 unless they make on weekdays and an 11 on the weekends, unless they make a petition to the police department saying that they, that they're running a clean business, nobody loitering in front of it, that they're actually, they operate opposite than what the people in the community are saying, because the people in our communities are saying, and we see it, kids hanging out in front of their store, all kinds of crime and violence taking place in front of the store all hours of the night. It's an invitation for problems. So we're asking them to close their store at a specific time period.
Okay, so this is all over the city?
Yes, ma'am. It's all
Not
over.
just, okay.
No, all over the city.
Okay, thank you.
No one else appearing.
No one else appearing, Mr. President. Motion is by Councilman Baraka to adopt second reading, final passage, second by
Second.
Payne.
Roll call.
Yes.
Baraka,
Yes.
Crump,
Tried to be the seconder, yes.
I learned.
Yes.
Donna,
Yes.
Ramos,
Yes.
Rice,
Way overdue, yes.
Reed,
Yes.
President Payne.
Yes, I learned from you, Madam President.
You gotta get in there quick.
Councilman Baraka.
I'd just like to thank the council for supporting that ordinance. I think it's very important. It took us a long time to get it done. I just want to ask that we send the ordinance to the police director and to my captain in the South District, because I know he has already been trying to be vigilant on some of the stores. So with this ordinance, it gives him the ammunition to begin to put pressure on some of these stores to close their business down or begin to get the guys from hanging out in front of it. Hopefully the city clerk heard what I said, brother, because they having an argument down there. I don't know what's going on with them two down there, brother. But we want to send the ordinance to the police director and Captain Venable in the South so he can begin to enforce this ordinance, please. Thank you.
Councilman, we plan on having a meeting, with the business administrator as well as the police department to talk about the implementation of the ordinance.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, what's next?
The next item, Mr. President, is an ordinance amending additional locations for traffic control signal monitoring systems, which has been discussed at some length with the engineering department and the council.
Okay.
Does anyone wish to be heard on this ordinance?
Good afternoon. My name is Tenful Evans, P.O. Box 2367, 14900 Terra. What I'm going to say is, number one, we have the order. Let's don't put this on paper and don't pass it and don't do nothing with it. That's what we've been doing. We go to the Biden administration, say they're doing this, they're doing that. We come back with the same thing over and over. If I wouldn't have been up here and spoke on these issues, it would never have passed. All I'm saying to the Biden administration, let's pass it, if you're going to put it on paper, make sure you stand behind it. Don't be putting it on paper and the council don't know what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you,
Man.
Ms. Evans.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman
I asked a
Trump?
question of Ms. Evans. Ms. Evans?
No.
No, this is on this ordinance.
So what is your suggestion?
Oh, Ms.
Yes, you just said don't put it on paper and not do something, so what is your
What I'm
specific?
saying is, don't put it on paper, don't pass it. I'm saying, you're not being smart. Listen what I said. Don't put nothing on paper, don't follow up on it, and don't pass it. That's what I said. Please read my lips very clear when I'm speaking up in this mic, okay? That's what I said. I did not say do not put it on paper. If we put on paper, follow procedure and make sure it pass so people know what's going on. Thank you.
My question is, how do you
I think she answered your
recommend-
question, ma'am. I think she answered your question.
How do you recommend that we proceed, Mr. President? I'm sorry, she's put us in a bind here.
Well, I think it was a suggestion.
It's a suggestion.
And we will take it under advisement. And I never did that to you when you were president, all right?
Yes, oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking about that. Oh, Mr. President, I do apologize.
problem.
I wasn't even
No
paying
problem.
attention to what I was doing. Yeah, I did.
All right. No one else appearing?
No one else appearing, Mr. President. Motion is council of the whole to adopt the second reading final passage.
No.
You said I'd lost my mind.
Rocca,
Yes.
Crump, Gonzalez,
Yes.
Quintana.
Yes.
Ramos,
Yes.
Rice,
Yes.
Sharif. President Payne.
Yes.
Ordinances on second reading and final passage. First item, Mr. President, providing
Yes,
For-
Mr. Clerk.
for handicapped access in
Still
small and medium-sized grocery stores. Councilman Rice, what's your pleasure?
To defer.
To defer a second Payne?
I'll second. I'm
Crump.
sorry.
Crump,
Only because we've
second
been
is
working
on
on it together,
deferral.
Mr. President.
Roll call.
We'll keep the public comment open.
Amador,
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Rocca,
Yes.
Crump,
Yes,
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Quintana,
Yes.
Ramos,
Yes.
Rice.
Yes.
Yes to defer.
President Payne.
Yes.
Mr. President, if I can,
What is this now?
I would just like to know that we're not deferring this because we haven't done a lot of work, a lot of research. I'm waiting for the councilman to listen. I'm waiting for Ron to.
I'm sorry.
I was just saying, I don't want the viewing audience to think that we haven't done a lot of work, and we have done a lot of research. And the reason it's being deferred again is just to make sure that we are within the purview, and it's absolutely ADA compliant.
Very good.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Councilwoman.
Okay.
The last item, Mr. President, is regarding the protocols used for the creation of taxi stands. We are asking you to defer this for one more meeting until we can finalize the amendments that the council asked for with the law department and the engineering department.
Move to defer.
Council Hall.
Council the whole?
Amador? Baraka?
Yes.
Crump?
Yes.
Gonzalez?
Yes.
Quintana?
Yes.
Ramos?
Yes.
Rice?
Yes.
Yes.
President Payne.
Yes.
Resolutions, administration, CDBG budget appropriations. We've been requested by the chairman of the committee, Ramos, to defer so that the committee can meet with the administration.
Yeah, let's just keep it there.
Yeah, I think Councilman Ramos wanted to change that.
Yeah, well, let's keep it, because we do have a meeting date scheduled, I believe, for tomorrow afternoon, so we'll defer, just so we give the members of the committee an
Ramos,
opportunity.
Payne.
But
Roll
they
call.
did forward the information to us that we requested.
Okay.
Yes, on deferral. Roll call.
Amador?
Yes.
Baraka?
So what's happening now? What are we doing?
Deferring.
We're deferring.
CDBG, we're deferring it. There's a meeting
It
of
needs to
the,
meet.
Yes.
Crump?
Yes.
Gonzalez?
Yes.
Quintana?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Yes.
Rice?
Yes.
Sharif?
yes.
President Payne.
Yes.
How am I going to do it now? Yeah. The next item being, Mr. President, temporary emergency appropriation for the WIC program. Council hold to adopt.
Council the whole?
Amador? Yes. Baraka?
Yes.
Crump?
Yes.
Gonzalez?
Yes.
Quintana?
Yes.
Ramos?
Yes.
Rice?
Yes.
Sharif?
Yes.
President Payne.
Yes.
The next to C is also a temporary emergency appropriation from Child and Family Well-Being.
Council the whole?
Amador? Baraka?
Yes.
Crump?
Yes.
Gonzalez?
Yes.
Quintana?
Yes.
Ramos?
Yes.
Rice?
Yes.
Sharif?
Yes.
President Payne.
Yes.
Next two items, D and E, are both deferrals from the administration. These are bid contracts for street sweeping. Council the whole to defer both.
Amador? Yes. Baraka?
Yes.
Crump?
Yes.
Gonzalez?
Yes.
Quintana?
Yes.
Ramos?
Yes.
Rice?
Yes.
Yes.
President Payne.
Yes.
The next is a bid contract on the heavy-duty truck parts and automotive parts.
What number are we?
7R1F.
F.
F, page 11. And the item on the following page is a bid also on the
7R1E?
traffic signs,
What, 7R?
F and G. To adopt, council the whole.
The deputy clerk usually gives us the number too, so
Yes, sir, right.
we follow by
twice.
numbers.
Yes. A little out of practice there.
I know I can't win, so I'm just
God's
smiling.
not done with him yet.
I'm just smiling. F
Roll
and G.
call.
Adoption.
Amador? Baraka?
Yes.
Crump?
Abstain on F and yes on G.
Gonzalez?
Yes.
We did G?
F and G.
F and G.
Yes.
Oh, you mean, yeah. The next item,
We didn't finish a roll call.
No, we didn't finish the roll call.
First you're holding it up, now you're getting ahead.
Oh, he's a 10th member. He's gonna vote.
Yes.
He's a,
Yeah, let's get through the vote.
Rice.
Yes.
Sharif. Yes. President Payne.
Yes. Councilman Baraka?
No, go ahead, I'm good with it,
Okay.
yes.
7A, law, settlement of litigation, which was discussed at some length yesterday
Yes.
at the conference.
Council of the whole.
Amador.
yes.
Baraka.
Yes.
Trump.
People get rich. All type of stuff.
Abstain.
Gonzalez.
Abstain.
Quintana.
Yes.
Ramos.
Yes.
Rice.
Abstain.
Sharif.
Yes.
President Payne.
Yes.
President,
Councilman Amador?
I believe that in view of the
Turn
fact
your
that
mic on.
I was
Turn your mic on.
involved,
Your mic.
I believe that in view of the fact that I was involved in this issue, I'm abstaining. I'm changing my vote.
Don't pass. Abstain.
My apologies.
It was adopted.
Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Councilman Rex?
And I'm asking as legal counsel to give me some advice. I know these settlements are kind of closed and proprietary or confidential. Can this information be sent to the Department of Justice by any chance? Or what can be sent to the Department of Justice in terms of their investigation of harassment and the like?
This has nothing to do with
It was done already.
Yeah.
No, I know that, but I'm saying, can the details of a settlement be given out? I assume not, but I'm asking just legally, what can be sent out to an investigative agency? Or somebody can get back to me on it. I mean, if you can't answer it now, I'm not trying to
Was determined
delay
by,
the
Send
meeting.
it to
was determined by a judge.
their attorneys, so you can send it to them.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what the process is. I'm just saying, if whatever can be sent, could we have that directed to the Department of Justice?
We have the note.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
From the appellate.
Yeah, but I don't know how much is sealed and how much is.
Page 13, Mr. President. Council Clerk.
7R9A.
First item, 9A, is a constable appointment. The second, 9B, is a reappointment of a current Board of Adjustment member. The third, 9C, is a memorializing resolution by Councilman Baraka recognizing violence as a public health issue. The fourth, 9D, is establishing rules of procedure. Are we doing this today?
Should do that.
Governing conduct of the meetings of the council. 9E,
Through D.
recognizing and commending, and the following F, sorrow and regret.
Guess not. Okay.
Council of the whole.
Council of the whole. Roll call.
Amador.
Yes.
Baraka.
Yes.
Trump.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Quintana.
Yes.
Ramos.
Yes.
Rice.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
President Payne.
Yes.
Council President?
Councilman Baraka?
I just want to comment on 7R9C, recognizing violence as a public health issue. I'd like to first thank and congratulate the council for bringing the city of Newark in line with the CDC and the federal government of declaring violence a public health issue. And I'm requesting that this resolution be sent to the mayor and the police director to begin to hold a meeting in this community with the various public health organizations and nonprofits and law enforcement agencies and other organizations that are interested in the beginning to treat violence as a public health issue. And hopefully he moves forward on that and bring himself in line with the federal government around the issue of violence. In fact, Newark was named with Los Angeles and other cities of, twice and three times our size as, saying that gang violence in Newark is a public health issue. This was already established and stated by people outside of the city. So it's important that we do it. And I am humbly requesting that the mayor not look at this as just a label, as he once stated before, and begin to view this as a serious strategy to begin to approach violence and crime in this community. And at the base of it, what we're saying is that the death of so many of our children is an epidemic, that they're dying at epidemic proportions.
Absolutely.
In fact, homicide is the leading cause of death in some age ranges of African-American males in this country. It is important that we treat it as an epidemic. If 5 mosquitoes came downtown and killed 20 people within a month's period, the CDC and everybody else would be here, public health organizations, trying to figure out where these mosquitoes came from and why these people died from that. And we, in a paper, talking about 80 and 90 children being killed a year. I think it's time for us to begin to treat it as a public health issue, the same way we would treat any other epidemic in this country. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. 7R,
On page 15,
11A.
Mr. President. 11A, Police, Professional Service Contract, Clearview Data Systems.
Okay, council of the whole.
Council hold to adopt.
Roll call.
Amador,
Yes.
Baraka,
Yes.
Trump,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Quintana,
Yes.
Ramos,
Yes.
Rice,
Yes.
Sharif,
Yes.
President Payne.
Yes.
11B, sir, the Newark Police Department, OEM, grant that covers the item type of services listed there on the resolution title.
No municipal
EOC,
funds.
NIMS, et cetera.
Yeah, no,
For the whole to adopt.
council of the whole.
Amador,
Yes.
Baraka,
Yes.
Trump,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Quintana,
Yes.
Ramos,
Yes.
Rice,
Yes.
Yes.
President Payne.
Yes.
12A, sir, on the following page. This is a change order of approximately $450,000, an extension of the contract period. The council wish to, because it was not fully discussed at the conference yesterday.
At all.
At all, right.
Vote to defer.
Yes, move to defer.
Second.
Council hold to defer.
Roll call.
Amador,
Yes.
Baraka.
Yes.
Trump,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Quintana,
Yes.
Ramos,
Yes.
Rice,
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
President Payne.
Yes.
Bottom of the page, the first item, 8A, revising yield sign regulations to move to first reading. The third, 8C, to move to first reading about the news racks for the next meeting. And on B, Councilman Amador, did you want to move it to first or?
Absolutely
defer
not.
it?
Absolutely not. I want to table it.
All right, so we're moving A and C to first reading, Mr. President, for the next council meeting. Council of the whole, roll call.
Roll call.
Sponsor on C. Clerk.
Amador,
Yes.
Baraka.
Yes.
Trump,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Quintana,
Yes.
Ramos,
Yes.
Rice,
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
President Payne.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Ramos.
just want to thank my colleagues for their support on 8C as it relates to the news racks and, you know, getting a better handle in terms of where they're placed and utilized throughout the city. This piece of legislation we've been working on for quite some time, and this is in response to, you know, a number of complaints we've received from, you know, residents throughout the city, some dialogue we've had with the police department, where, you know, these boxes are being placed almost everywhere throughout the city, and in some cases they're being used to stash, you know, garbage, and in our conversations with the police department, in some cases even to stash drugs. And this is going to allow us to set up a permit process to get a better handle in terms of where these boxes are placed, and it also includes some level of responsibility for those organizations that are placing, you know, boxes throughout the city of Newark. So I just want to thank my colleagues. I think it's a good piece of legislation, and we're going to be working with the Neighborhood Services Department and the Police Department so that we can enforce this ordinance. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Councilman Amador.
would it be possible to get a copy of the ordinance of the changes that were made? We've been trying to address this issue for as long as I've been in this council, and every time we try to do something, they claim that it's First Amendment rights. So I'm sure that a lot of people in this city will be very happy if we do have the ability to control the placing these news racks all over the city.
Sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, we did download a copy today off of Legistar, but through the clerk's
Yes,
office,
it's in
maybe we can,
Legistar.
maybe we can distribute a copy that highlights some of the changes. And the intent here is, again, not to restrict, First Amendment rights, but just to create, some rules and regulations in terms of the placement. And if you notice, a lot of the news organizations that do place these boxes are not even from Essex County, let alone the city
Absolutely.
of Newark. They tend to be outside news organizations who really don't originate anywhere near the city. And, many times they're abandoned, they're not restocked. I saw 3 flipped over yesterday as I'm driving through the city. So this will definitely address, I think, an issue, quality of life issue that's become a concern for our residents.
Mr. President, if I may.
Councilman Gonzalez.
Yeah, the First Amendment is not an absolute. You can put some restrictions as long as the restrictions are reasonable. And I believe that in this case, this has become a nuisance in the city of Newark, where we have criminals stashing drugs in some of these places. So I believe that we have to, in certain way, come around the First Amendment and put a reasonable control over the use of those machines.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Amador, 8B.
Well, I find it strange that the administration sent this up.
I do too.
In view of the fact that the Clifford Street site for the seniors has been obsolete since Hurricane Irene, and it hasn't been fixed, from what I understand. And for us to renew a contract with the same entity for a place that doesn't exist, when the seniors are now placed in a different location, who's running the show? How was this contract submitted? Has anybody passed by?
It's empty.
And took a look at the condition of the building? This is absurd. So I would like to table this matter.
I'd like to second.
All right, no discussion on tabling. This is the lease agreement between the city and landlord for the premises at 138 Clifford Street. Roll call, there's a mover and seconder on tabling.
If I can ask
Councilman
a
Gonzalez.
question, is this establishing or paying for time already elapsed, or is this for time that is going to incur in the future?
It's both. It's
That's a good question,
ratifying
because
and
I asked that same
authorizing.
question on Tuesday, and I still don't have the information.
But they can't do that legally. How could you have a contract that wasn't voted on?
I understand your concerns. However, technically, there's not supposed to be
Any comment?
discussion
Okay,
Something
on a
that's being-
motion to
Okay.
table.
that's fine.
So, but the clerk's office is researching this item,
Okay.
and we will discuss it before, at the next pre.
We'll
Mr. Clerk.
dispose of it
Mr. Clerk.
accordingly.
You don't have to get frustrated and annoyed with us. All you have to do
Thought
is
I was
say,
gentle
all you have to
and
do is say,
sweet.
Mr. President, there should be no discussion
informative, that's
on this. But I mean, you're like, it's all.
Doing his
Okay.
job. The clerk's doing
Yes,
his
sir.
All right, so there should be no discussion.
No, sir.
All right. All right, there's been a mover and a second. It's a table. Roll call.
Amador,
Yes.
Baca.
Yes.
Crump,
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Quintana,
Yes.
Ramos,
Yes.
Rice,
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
President Payne.
Yes, it's like you look at us like frustrated, like.
Moving on,
Referee.
moving on, sir, to two proposed appointments, nominations from the mayor. The first is 8D, which is the proposed appointment of the current Acting Director of Child and Family Well-Being, LaTanya Williamson, whom the council interviewed yesterday. What is your pleasure? Is the nomination moved?
Yeah, Council of the whole.
Council of the whole to confirm.
Roll call.
Amador,
Yes.
Baraka.
Yes.
Crump,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
No.
Quintana,
Yes.
Ramos,
Yes.
Rice,
Yes.
Sharif,
Yes.
President Payne.
Yes.
And I know why
8E
Avarice.
I brought it up.
is the proposed appointment to the Commission on Homeless from the mayor of Dr. Chris Purnell. What is the council's pleasure?
Council of the whole. Roll call.
Amador,
For confirmation.
Yes.
Baraka,
Yes.
Crump,
No.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Quintana,
Yes.
Ramos,
Yes.
Rice,
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
President Payne.
Yes.
The nominees are confirmed. Motions. There are four. There were four motions
That's a
made
different landscape.
during the council
Anybody?
meeting.
No discussion.
No discussion, I'm sorry.
The first motion made during the council meeting was by Council Member Crump regarding correspondence to the police director regarding the consultation and/or employment, perhaps, of R. Wright, known as Cowboy. The second was by Ramos, Councilmember Ramos, regarding the exploration of ordinances requiring camera equipment in certain retail establishments, to explore that. The third, Councilmember Rice, regarding, again, what we've asked on several occasions for the administration, certain department directors to meet with the Occupy Newark personnel. And the last by Councilmember Rice regarding the statements of Diamond Jones, I believe. So those four, second Payne, and
What did she say?
roll call on those four, Mr. President?
Second Payne.
She gave him.
Roll call.
Amador,
Yes.
Baraka.
Yes.
Crump,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Absent.
absent. Quintana,
Yes.
Ramos,
Yes.
Rice,
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
President Payne.
Yes.
Individual motions, Mr. President?
Councilwoman Crump.
Why, thank you.
First.
Thank you. It's interesting
Why were you
that
looking
you
at
have
me?
given me that privilege, because my first is an announcement. I have received a number of calls over the last few weeks about, are we having the Newark Women's Conference? Yes, we are.
All right.
The dates are March 30th and the 31st. It will be held at the University of Medicine and Dentistry. We have some, and I cannot mention their names, but we have some dynamite speakers who are going to be with us for those 2 days. Exciting workshops. For those students who are watching, if you are an 11th or 12th grade young woman, unfortunately this is for the ladies, the Board of Education releases approximately 250 students to come and spend the day with us for empowerment. Saturday is going to be equally as exciting, and we will be getting the information out to the public quickly. We voted on, Mr. President, where's Councilman, it was about Councilman Quintana. I wanted, is he still here? Well, on the resolution regarding the grant money that is going to Homeland Security and the Police Department. There are 5 of us who were trained in emergency management, and they don't use us. And I'm not blaming Director Isaac, trust me. But neither the police nor emergency management uses the skills that the grant paid for us to go and be trained in Texas. And so a letter to the police director, who has the final say-so on who attends, and to the director of emergency management asking for his support that the council members be invited, those council members who were trained, that we be invited to at least some of those meetings. I think we can be a very valuable resource, and we are willing, which is even more important. And that's it.
Second, roll call.
Amador,
Yes.
Baraka,
Yes.
Crump,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
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 Yes. Councilman Ramos?
A few meetings ago, we approved a number of grants, small grants through Stephanie Greenwald to promote recycling and green initiatives throughout the city. I received a petition from our tenant association at 380 and 402 Mount Prospect Avenue, and they're very interested in, kicking off a recycling program in the 2 buildings. And I'd like to send notice through the clerk's office to Ms. Greenwood to see if she can provide them with some guidance and technical assistance on how they may be able to set up, a recycling initiative. Maybe she can connect them with one of these groups that received a grant through her office, and I will give the clerk's office the contact person for that association along with his telephone number. Second issue is, we've received a number of letters over the last 5 months regarding, tax assessor vacancy that the city has. And my understanding, and I ran into Ms. Landolfi in the parking lot yesterday, is that today the Essex County Tax Board was going to take some kind of official action to notify the governor's office, which from my understanding enables their office to appoint someone as a tax assessor for the city, because we have not taken action in filling that position. And I think that's a critical position, especially in light of the fact that we're going through a revow right now. And, I don't understand how, this administration has not taken some kind of action to respond to the Essex County Tax Board's, continuous inquiries regarding this important position. And more importantly, for our residents and homeowners who are going through this revow process right now, we need some kind of representation on that board. And, I know we're going to have a meeting on Tuesday for us to have some kind of communication back from the business administrator as to why we haven't filled the position. And secondly, whether or not the action by the Essex County Tax Board is in fact going to empower the state to appoint someone to that position.
Very, very important.
That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Second, roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes, and I believe I've even been contacted by someone who was interested in applying for the job. And
Me too, on Facebook.
Yeah. So, it's unfortunate that such an important position, hasn't been filled, but we're just getting around to finally appointing someone as head of child and family well-being. So I guess there's a two-year bend on when they, but anyway, Councilman Baraka.
I have 2 motions and the rest of the announcements. Just a motion to the Department of Neighborhood Services, just to provide an explanation in regards to the process of ticketing and towing during the days of street cleaning. We've been getting a series of calls in the South Ward about places that have no signage up and cars being towed. So there needs to be some kind of explanation behind that, and if that is the case, we need some signage up that kind of warns people that if they park there, they're going to be towed. I mean, it makes no sense to tow people
Councilman,
cars.
just to that point, person doing electrical work at my father's house at 21 Bach, he parked there on Monday morning, they towed his truck. But the signs don't say towaway zone.
Right.
Not at all.
They
Right.
say no parking, but
Right.
it doesn't say towaway zone, so.
And that's happening
To that
throughout the
point,
ward.
yes.
So I like to get a Department of Neighborhood Services to have an explanation on that. And if that is the case, then they need to put the proper signage up for people, so people can know what they're up against.
My father's bill went up $155.
I bet you it did. The second motion is for Newark Police Department to increase patrols in and around Ingram and Millington. There's been a series of break-ins and robberies on that block. There's even been a case of arson. So we're trying to get them to increase patrols there on Ingram and Millington. In fact, there's been a series of break-ins in the South, period. They need to just request them to step up patrols around that thing. And just the announcements, I want to thank everybody for participating in the first public roundtable discussion. Where do we go from here? Chaos or community? I thought it was an excellent discussion. Councilwoman Mildred Crump participated. We want to continue those forums as well. And I know that it's being aired on Channel 78. So if you get an opportunity to watch it, please do. It was very informative, even for me. I want to thank all of the participants for participating in the men's meeting at Weekway High School this past Friday. It was well attended. In fact, the event today, Safe Passageway After School, was a result of that, and there's a series of other things that the people in the community want to do. And I think there's a lot of brothers stepping up, so stay tuned for the next meeting so you can participate in that. I want to announce what's happening Wednesdays from 5 to 7 at the Weekway Branch Library this February the 8th. Come on out and read and discuss and have dinner with folks that are reading as part of the Southward Reads program. We're also doing one at Beth Israel Hospital on February the 16th. To read articles about health and wellness. So Beth Israel has stepped up to participate in Southward Read, so I want to thank them and invite people to come out on the 16th of February to that. And the last announcement is that we're having, once again, our State of the Southward address at George Washington Carver Elementary School, February the 23rd, 6 p.m. I know a lot of people have a lot of questions, and you get your questions answered, hopefully, at George Washington Carver Elementary School, February 23rd at 6 p.m. Thank you.
What about the post office, brother?
You-
Southwark Post Office,
Right.
closed, and I ain't seen y'all talk on it.
Did you do your petitions? You never gave them to me. Oh, that's what I thought.
I want you all to talk on it.
I'll talk to you. Go ahead.
Yes.
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 No. Wow. Thank you, Council President. To the clerk's office, to the clerk's office, and I hope it's a timely fashion. I want to make sure that we prepare a resolution in support of the Security Officer Bill of Rights. I want to pass it down to you guys. This is the exact language that needs to be on there. I'm hoping we can get it on for Tuesday's meeting. No, special. Regular meeting. Thank you. Very quickly I guess, Neighborhood Services, I need an update on the status of tree removals on Chapman Street in the West Ward. Also, to Neighborhood Services, the status of the cleanup on Myrtle Avenue. Third, through the clerk's office, if he's paying attention. Wow. If we could convene a meeting of the ad hoc committee on procurement and purchasing with Adam Cruz, it's myself, Councilman Amador, and Councilman Ramos. I know we were supposed to be doing this quarterly. I don't know what happened to those meetings, so I'm hoping that we can get that done as soon as possible and maintain a quarterly meeting schedule to go over a lot of our issues. Again, a reminder that our monthly Block Federation meeting will be next Thursday, February 9th. We'll be back in Vailsburg at North Star Academy, 24 Hazelwood Avenue, 6 p.m. We have a very big agenda. We'll have sanitation there, representatives from the county, representatives from a number of agencies that we asked to be there. So please get there at 6 p.m. sharp. I know sometimes we do 6 or 6:30, but 6 p.m. sharp because we have a very big agenda. For more information, just call my office, 973-733-6427. Also, the 4th annual State of the West Water Address will be at 10 a.m. Saturday, March 17th at Speedway Avenue School. We're still working out the details as to some of the events and folks that we want to have there. But if you'd like to volunteer and bring your services or your business to advertise at that particular meeting, please contact my office as well. And lastly, we still need men for our West Ward Mentors program. Again, it's a program we do with Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Essex, Union, Hudson counties. We're looking for mentors for our boys 7 to 15. We'll be having a gathering meeting in the month of March, so stay tuned. But we need mentors to sign up. You do not have to necessarily be a Newark resident, but Newark residents are preferred. And again, call the office if you'd like to sign up so we can put you on our mailing list. And that's it. Pretty quick. That's it.
Yes.
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 Yes, Councilman Amador?
Just a thank you to all the firms that participated in the job fair on Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. We had about 28 firms, and we had about 300 applicants for different jobs. And it was a huge success, and I recommend that everyone should do one in each ward. You'd be surprised at the turnout, and you'd be surprised at how willingly people and firms are coming to get Newark residents as employees. We also had people from New York, which surprised me a lot, looking for jobs in the city of Newark. In anticipation of the resolution that will be coming before us regarding the watershed water treatment plant contract, which is scheduled to expire on February the 28th, I suggest, and I hope I get the support from the rest of the council, to recommend to the administration that they should propose only a 6-month plan, not a 3-year plan for $18 million, because as everybody knows, we have an investigation going on, and we hope that by July 1st, we should have all this wrapped up and the recommendations to be submitted for changes to take place at the watershed. So what I would like to recommend is that the contract that will be coming before us before February the 28th should be a contract for 6 months only, not for 3 years, and not for $18 million.
I second that.
Yes.
Second.
Yes.
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 Yes. Councilman Sharif, I don't
Thank
know if that Councilman Rice is being a bad influence on you down there.
No. Just 3 very brief announcements. One, to give an update about what has been going on at UMD&J. Over the last 2 days, we've had 2 very important meetings. One with the Board of Directors over at UMD&J. Councilwoman Crump was there, Senator Rice, members of our state delegation. And we got an update, and it really is to respond to the final report that was issued by Governor Christie. And I don't think I am out of line in saying that the Board of Directors for UMD&J have serious concerns and questions about a report that really was designed to address financing as opposed to what it is that they're trying to do, just break the individual units apart from UMD&J, give some to South Jersey, give some to Central Jersey. But we have developed a website so that people who are interested in following this and participating in what will be an increasing number of rallies and other activities just to oppose what's happening. The web address is keepumdnjstrong.org. They can go there and click on the video of the press conference that we had here in council chambers. There are important documents that they can download in PDF form, which will give them an update. But if they want specific information, they can send an email to keepumdnjstrong@gmail.com, and somebody will get back to them with whatever the request is. And finally, if they want a rubber bracelet, I don't know if they could see it, and Councilman Rice has one. Councilwoman Crump's digging into her pocketbook. They can request one. They can call any of our office, because this is a united effort by this entire council, and I appreciate and thank them for designating me and Councilwoman Crump really to stay in touch with what's going on, and we'll make sure that we give you a bracelet. We had an important discussion, and I was really thinking about Councilman Baraka during this discussion. It's important to, on both fronts, to get and push on the substance, but also keep the pressure on in the community. And this is the one part of this effort that we really have to beef up, because when powerful people with resources and staff have an opportunity to plan, and we don't, we're always scrambling, then, and that's always a part of their calculation, that they can do what they want with the resources, and then they issue the final plan, and they only count on us having 1 or 2 press conferences or 1 or 2 rallies, and then the dust settles and they continue with the drill. And I can't think of anything that is more important than the health, and we just adopted violence as a public health issue, and there is no institution, right, more critical to that than UMD&J. And for people who have more knowledge than me, there is a thing that is critical to all of us, and that's the Newark agreements or the Newark Accords. And selfishly for this community, it's important to keep UMD&J intact, because we then have to press up on them to honor that sacred covenant. Because a lot of the stuff, when you go through that the Newark Accords, it really talks about commitments that really have not been made to this community. And so we're going to work hard to keep UMD&J intact, but then we're going to engage them to say that the commitment that was made through the Newark Accords, we want you to honor that commitment. So secondly, the learning community that we run at Science Park, this is the second year, the end of the first session, and I'm happy to say that we have close to full attendance in 10 classes, so that amounts to about 200 people who have been coming on Saturday from 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock, taking a number of very interesting classes. The second session starts February the 25th, so you can call my office, 973-733-5870, and we've added a few new classes. We have algebra, intro to filmmaking, introduction to web development, and yoga for kids from 5 to 11. And people who come to the class, it's a free thing for them. They get a lot out of it, and they're having a lot of fun. And finally, I started the first of 4 computer literacy training sessions at the Masjid on Branford Place. And so we'll go for 4 weeks, and then we're going to move to the Masjid on MLK. I have a meeting tomorrow with Reverend Slaughter from St. James AME Church to bring computer literacy there. And that's about it. Thanks, Council President.
Second, roll call.
Yes.
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 President, may I do something? Apologize.
What?
I do want to apologize for my behavior during the course of the meeting.
Oh, stop.
Um,
No, there's
you-
no reason, there was no reason to apologize. It was tongue-in-cheek. I was just making
I
a
am
moment of humor, but
I am
I never did do that to you.
Oh,
but
see,
I-
there he goes again.
Oh, no, it's
Making
all
me-
right. It's okay.
I do apologize.
It's all right. Let's see. As you know, it was stated earlier during the meeting that the council has been looking at new procedures to, for the council meetings, the pre-meetings, the special meetings. We passed a couple meetings ago to air the pre-meetings and the special meetings so the residents could see us in our deliberations and the discussions that are take place. So when we come to the meeting, we're able to vote on the items. Some of the rules that will be changed is we will change the order of the hearing of citizens and voting portion of the meeting. The voting portion of the meeting will be first, and the hearing of citizens will be second. Secondly, we'll be televising the pre-meetings and any of the special meetings. We're going to also return to speaking time during the hearing of citizens to 5 minutes. We're also going to clarify the process by which legislation is added to the council meeting. So those are some of the changes that will take place with the council rules, but we will be handing them out prior to the change, which we anticipate taking effect in the next month or so. So also, my council colleagues' support, we're going to have our second annual Black History Month celebration, recognizing the contributions of African Americans in this community. It'll be on Tuesday, February 28th at 6 p.m. Right here in the council chambers. And I implore all my colleagues to get their designee in as soon as possible so we can notify them and have a successful program. Thought it was very good last year, and we just want to build on that success and acknowledge contributions in our community. So that is on February 28th, 6 p.m. to 7:30, right here in Newark City Hall. And that's it.
Second.
Roll call. Oh,
Yes. Yes.
Oh, yes.
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 yes. Motion to adjourn. Roll call.
Yes. Yes.
You had fun today, yes.
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 Yes.